All right, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about the NPC North American Championships, which just happened this past week. We have a new freak coming into the IFBB. The guy who won the overall is going to have the potential to do some serious damage down the line. He could be a top Olympian. I'm going to recap the overalls, and I'm going to recap what went wrong, although I wouldn't say like anything went wrong, but why I wasn't able to win my pro card. I ended up taking fourth in my class. So first, let's look at the overall winner, because it's not always that the guy who wins the overall is going to be able to like make a significant impact in the IFBB. Not anymore. It used to be. If you won the overall at a national championship contest, you were going to be able to make an impact like right away. Now, not always. Now it takes some time. This guy can make an impact like pretty quickly if he can get into condition. So let's look at him. Yeah, I mean, he knows. I think he was pretty clearly winning, and he's confident. I mean, look at that shape. This guy's Nigerian. These guys have the best freaking genetics, I swear. I mean, you have two of the top four bodybuilders are Nigerian, Samson and Andrew Jacked. I mean, look at that. So far we have a front double, a front lat, and a side chest that are all potentially could be some of the best in the IFBB down the road. And the back double is good too. We can see that he doesn't have the sharpest condition, but it's enough considering how much muscle and how much shape he's working with. I mean, that's the only pose I don't love, is the most muscular. And that's just kind of the way he's posing it. The twisting biceps is actually really nice. So let's look at the overall lineups and see how he stood out against the other class winners. So this is just everybody who won their class in the open division at the show. So we start with the super heavies down here, and then we have the guy who won the overall was the heavy, light heavy, which is my division, middleweight, what does it go now? Welterweight, lightweight, and bantamweight. So the way it works at the North Americans is you have to win your class, then you have to place in the top 4 overall to get your pro card. So that's the reason a lot of the lighter classes sometimes don't compete at the North Americans, because they don't automatically turn pro. If they win their class, they've got to go against the big boys. So usually you'll see the top 4 weight classes turn pro. So like this gentleman here and the guy in the end, they competed against nobody. So they won the overalls, but they didn't compete against anybody. They had nobody in the division. It was a good amount of middleweights because they can earn that pro card, and there was a few of this guy's lightweight class as well. So if you look at them all just standing in a line, I mean, obviously the guy who won the overall stands out a lot. He's got beautiful shape, a lot of muscle. The super heavy looks good. He just looks really distended. The light heavy, I wasn't super impressed with, to be honest. The middleweight looks fantastic, actually. Middleweight's got great shape, great condition. And then as you get like smaller, I don't mean to be mean, but you're kind of like discounted. This guy looked really good. The lightweight actually looked really good too. But I'm going to crop out the guys on the end just to get like a clearer vision as well, so I can get a little better view. I don't mean to be disrespectful to these little fellas. So they start off with the overall in the center, who, let me find out his name again real quick. It's hard to pronounce. Oluwatobi Ishola. So that guy definitely needs to come up with a cool nickname like most of the other Nigerians do, like Andrew Jacked or something. I already forgot. Oshiwatabla. Here we have Oluwatobi in the center with his front double. And it's clear that he's winning this shot by a mile. I mean, the light heavyweight's not going to be able to compete with him at all. He doesn't have enough muscle. So it's really going to be between him and the super heavy. And the super heavy shape is not going to do him any favors on this. I've seen this guy compete quite a bit. He's been pretty close to earning his pro card. He got some great legs, and he's a really muscular dude. But it's hard to compete against someone that's got that crazy shape. So when we look at this front lat spread, again, just totally dominant by our heavyweight. Again, you can see the kind of the poor shape of the super heavy that's going to really hold him back, and the light heavy just doesn't have nearly enough muscle or shape to compare at all. The two little guys on the end look really good. They just are a little bit smaller. I could see one of these guys overtaking the light heavy. I know the light heavy ended up turning pro, and so did the middleweight, but I wouldn't be surprised if the middleweight ended up actually beating the light heavy on the scorecard, which I don't think they do a scorecard for the overalls. I didn't see it. I looked online. I saw the scorecard for all the individual divisions, but I was curious about it because I wasn't super duper impressed with the light heavy. We look at that side chest. Man, again, really dominant. He looks amazing. The super heavy looks pretty good in this. He can hide kind of the stomach and the structural issues. The light heavy, again, just lacking a little bit of pop. Clearly dominant. I mean, look at this guy's side leg. It's not just his upper body. He's got crazy wheels too. And now they switched him. I don't imagine they were actually considering ever not letting the heavyweight win, But the guy, the super heavy, does look gnarly from the back. I mean, he is diced, peeled. He's definitely more shredded than the heavyweight. He's winning this back shot for sure because of the detail. But man, this guy's got great hamstrings. He's got better hamstrings on him, just not the detail. Kind of the same thing downstairs when we look at the super heavy versus the heavy, but upstairs the heavy's definitely winning. So it's pretty close if you can take it all into consideration. None of these guys have that great of a side tricep. This is probably the weakest pose for the guy who ended up winning. I don't know who I'd give this to, honestly. I'd have to see it in person, see how they transition. Ab and thighs, man, the heavy's got a beautiful ab and thighs. The super heavy actually looks pretty good here. He's able to pull that waist in good, and he looks massive. So it's definitely a two-man race. Like, there's no one else in consideration at all. And then we look at the most muscular. And this is not like a great pose for the winner. His chest is probably his weakest body part. His arms like don't look crazy in this particular pose. I don't know if I caught the super heavy in the best moment at all, but I could see him actually taking this pose. So I see the super heavy getting a couple poses off of him, not this one, not the front double. And it's hard to lose a front double. He already lost the front relax, and then to get wiped out in the front lat spread like this, I mean, that's a very bad pose. You're going to already lose so much ground. Then you go into a side chest, which he's good in, but the heavy is really good. So they put them through the runs. They moved him around a little bit. They made the guy win. They made him earn it. His side leg is more detailed from the side almost. It's just the back side. Kind of like me. Me and this guy have similar issues, except he has fucking crazy genetics and tons of muscles, so his little minor issues didn't stop him from winning his class or the overall. But this is where you see the biggest difference right here. Obviously, those glutes and the hamstring tie-in are much tighter on the super heavy. That's why he's winning this pose. And on the light heavy as well. And definitely the middleweight. One more back. But man, the back lat I probably would give to the heavy. So I'm going to give the super heavy the back double. And I don't know, that might be the only one I can say for sure that I would give to him. And there's a couple other close ones for sure. Side chest is a pretty good one. His ab and thighs is actually really good, the most muscular. His back lat's pretty good. But all those I would probably give the edge to the heavyweight. I wanted to take note real quick of the guy who got second in the heavyweight division because he looked great. It was a straight first for the overall winner, which makes sense. He was just so dominant looking, but this guy is going to be a really good pro if he wants to as well. So he got second. He's got great shape, good like muscle density and separation. Kind of reminds me of Weapon X. I don't know if you guys remember him. I don't know if he still competes. He wasn't in quite the condition needed to really challenge the heavyweight, even though the guy who won the overall at heavyweight wasn't the most diced. I think he was a little better conditioned, but this guy's definitely got a better, fuller chest for sure, though. And I also just wanted to go back to that middleweight real quick because this guy could do some damage if he puts on some size and competes in the 212. He probably was the most conditioned guy up there on the overall stage. Yeah, and you can just see like he's got a pretty crazy looking little shape to this. He could really throw some mass on there and do some damage in the 212 because 212 is becoming more aesthetic with Keon and the guy who won the overall is crazy aesthetic. And so I really like the kind of direction that bodybuilding seems to be moving. All right, so let's talk about me for a second. Why did I get fourth place? Well, to tell you guys the truth, it was the tan. The tan fucked me. I would have got first if I would have been properly glossed and had the right hue of orange on my skin. No, I'm just joking. I lost because I just needed a little bit more size and like that much more conditioning in my lower half. My upper half was super conditioned. I was right where I needed to be. My back, everything up from my waist up from the back, right where it needed to be, but I just did not quite have the separation and striations in the lower half that I needed. Part of that is due to the fact that my ass used to be so huge that I kind of just stopped training it. And in that process, I lost some volume and like there's not enough to push against the skin. This is what I kind of realized, and I was talking to Justin Compton about it as well, and he agrees. So even if the conditioning is there, if I've got like loose skin from losing weight, whether it's muscle or fat, it's harder to get those details. So I think that is one big reason why my glutes at least didn't quite look as lean as the rest of my body. I also think I fucking suck at posing. I'm a shit poser. I'm the worst poser by far out of everybody I competed against. I just know I get like a little anxious and I don't present my physique the best. I forget things. I always forget to flex my hamstring. So I think I could be like 10% better if I pose better. But regardless, I do think I could have placed higher. There's no way I was going to win this show, though. Not off of this prep. I need to do one off season, put a little more muscle, then I have a really good chance of earning my pro card the next time around. So let's go through my class and let's look at the top 6. So like I said, I ended up in 4th. I totally am fine with where I placed. I think 2 through 4, we were really, really close, and a couple things could have changed either way, and I don't think there would have been a lot of argument. I do think the guy who won clearly won, which in some ways like helps me a little bit, because if I feel like I had a chance of winning and I just kind of fucked up by not posing good or messing up peak week a little bit, I would really, really be down. But there was no way I was going to win this on this prep. I'm just going to have to build a little more tissue. But I do think I could have placed as high as 2nd had I done a couple things a little bit differently from peak week on. So let's go through the top 6, and this is the light heavyweight 35 plus masters is the division that I competed in. This was the guy who ended up winning. He also took 3rd in the open class. This guy got 2nd, and this guy got 3rd. He won his pro card in the 40 over class, and he got 5th in the open. And I ended up taking 4th. Jimmy got 5th, and he ended up in 6th. This is the first call out. I made the first call out. I actually was standing here in the either the 3rd or 4th spot. In the beginning, they had us do front and relax, quarter turns, and then they moved me to the side. So, yeah, that's not a good sign. I think my front and relaxed could use some work. It's one of those poses that can be like an 8.5 out of 10. It can look kind of strong. It's not bad if I'm like doing it good, or it can be like a 5.5 out of 10 and be really, really bad. My quarter turns are normally pretty good though. So they put me to the side here, and then this was our first pose. If you look at this front double. Now, when we were getting lined up at the back, I really didn't see a ton of crazy competition. We're all lined up at the back getting ready to go on stage. I'm there. This guy right here is there, and I honestly didn't see him as beating me when I was just looking at him at the back. He wasn't huge. He didn't look super, super conditioned just standing there. Obviously, he was once he started posing. And then I actually thought this guy was going to be my main competition. He had a crazy back. We're all just sitting backstage, and then this guy comes off from the over 40s, and he comes into he did a crossover, and I knew he was going to be trouble because he was shredded and big and presented himself very well. And then this guy, the guy who ended up winning, came in like last second, and I was like, oh fuck, that guy's going to win. He's huge for a light heavyweight, and he was in really good condition. So I actually thought I had a shot for a second. Then when I saw him, I knew I didn't have a chance, but I knew I could fight somewhere in that top 5. So this is the front double, and this guy right here probably wins that shot. I mean, he's definitely smaller than the gentleman over here, but he has a really, really good flow to his physique on a front double. He kind of reminded me of Nathan Epler in some ways. Like, he was not the most impressive just standing there, but then as he flexed, he really came alive. This gentleman over here was probably not in quite the condition to really contend with the top 5. And this guy's got crazy, like, small waist, but he needs to be a little bit thicker front to back. If we're looking at this, I'd probably give this guy the win. I think I look pretty solid in this. Front double's not always my best pose. Sometimes it's pretty good. I think I've got pretty good lat width on there. I've got pretty good density through the arms. This guy's shape just is not very good, but he's got crazy good quads. And then if we go to the front lat, this guy just dominates the front lat. He's got a really, really good front lat. The guy next to me also has a really good one. I think I have a decent one. I could be fighting with him to take second. I'll go ahead and give him second just because he's got a little more muscle. You can see the pecs are more full and the quads are a little bit bigger. We're about similar condition. I have a little better shape. Maybe slightly better actual lats. This guy who looked really good in the front double and looks like he's in second place kind of gets small in this front lat. Like, a lot of his width disappears there. And when we go to the side chest, really look at the side leg. This guy looks gnarly. The upper body is not crazy insane. It's big. I mean, it's definitely one of the bigger guys up here, but this guy next to me has probably got the thickest upper body out of everybody up there, honestly. And the guy who kind of went away on the front lat, he's presented himself really well on the side chest. Really lean side leg. And me on the corner, I've got really good front to back thickness. I've got good delts. I got good pecs. I got the glutes coming in and the hamstring. So side chest is a good pose for me. So, I mean, all of us are all pretty decent in here. We go to back double. I couldn't get the greatest picture of this first one, but this guy really doesn't get into the back double. He barely gets into it more than that. This is a really, really weak pose for him, and this is where I could potentially make up a lot of ground on this guy. So we look at the guy who ended up winning, and he's got pretty good upper back development. He's really missing this whole little area here, but good separation in the hamstrings. If we look at my lower body, I've got the thickness, I got some separation, but the glutes are just not quite there like the way this guy's are. This guy's. I don't think this guy's the best back. He's got decent conditioning. I think I would beat him. I think I'm beating him on the back double. I think I'm beating both of these guys on the back double. This guy has a crazy thick back. I mean, it's pretty impressive. I don't know if he's beating me on the back double just because of the lower body, but he's got a thick back. So I would say it's probably between me and the guy who won, and the guy who won is he's probably first just because the detail he brings into that lower body. I'll go back lat spread. Again, I'm pretty balanced. Like, I don't have any weak poses. I'm holding my own in all of these. I feel like this guy's back lat's pretty weak. He's got the best. He definitely is winning the back lat, but I feel like I could be battling for second there. This guy's pretty thick too, so then maybe they had me in third behind him in this pose. Side tricep. Again, I'm kind of wondering at this point, like, while I'm on the edge, I feel like I should be getting moved. I feel like I'm not. This means I'm either in 5th or 6th place. I don't feel like I'm 5th or 6th place. I'm looking around. I feel like I should be 2nd through 4th. I don't feel like I should be on the edge. I mean, my side tricep is good. I don't have any weak poses. I might win the side tricep, honestly, out of all of us. This guy does it really well. I mean, this guy's a pro. I'm definitely have like the least stage experience out of everybody up here, and it does show in my posing and presence a little bit. But yeah, I mean, these two have a little more side leg detail, but this guy's leg's actually pretty tiny. Ab and thighs. Definitely going to give it to the gentleman who won. Crazy midsection, crazy quads. He definitely probably has the best quads, him and this guy. This guy was really lean, but I think he was a little flat. A lot of times his abs didn't pop the best. I have a pretty good ab and thighs. I'm definitely up there fighting for second. And then we go to the most muscular. Again, I feel like I'm presenting pretty well. I feel like I'm kind of getting like fucked a little bit at this point because I just don't think I should be on the outside. And so here's another one. We all kind of adjust because I wanted to be able to see the guy who won get into his. So the guy who got second, I think he looks not the best and is most muscular. I think I'm probably taking second in here. This guy's really got great structure. He just was not quite lean enough. But if he was leaner, he would have been doing damage. He'd been battling for the win. So they actually did finally end up moving me. Thankfully, I was the only one that moved around the whole time. They moved me like 3 times. And so now they have me next to the guy who actually ended up winning. So this means I'm either in 3rd or 4th. And I'm feeling a lot better. So when we look at the side chest, I'm not posing it the best, but I've got pretty good glute separation, and I've got good hamstring drop. I don't think I'm winning this. I think this guy might be winning this. He presents really well, or the guy who actually won. This guy presents well. I just think he's lacking muscle. I think they should have moved us around a little bit more. They were pretty set on these being the top 2. Actually, these being the top 3. We go to the back double, and again, I feel like the guy who got second has a really weak back double, and this is where I'm making up ground. Again, I think it potentially has been as high as second. I don't think I should have. I can't say that without seeing where the judges were, but I think I should have landed in 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. I landed in 4th, so I got no complaints. We look at our winner. I mean, he's got a really good, like, tiny waist. I do like my lats kind of come out right away from my hips. He's got better glute ham separation, better legs in general. I think this guy is probably getting close to last in this pose. This is the guy who got 3rd. He looks pretty good. He presents pretty well, but I just think I have a little more detail in here. And the guy next to me is thick, really thick, but I was thinking lacks on the detail. We go to the back lat. This guy's doing a little better in the back lat. I would actually probably put him ahead of me this time because the waist is so small and the hamstrings are so dialed in. So I'd probably put myself in 3rd or 4th. I mean, even 5th. This guy's got a crazy back lat. And then we go back to the ab and thighs. And I think I'm 2nd on ab and thighs, honestly. This guy's looking a little better in here, but I think I have a little better waistline and a little better separation in between the quads, even though he's got bigger quads. And then we got one more most muscular. And I think I hold my own on the most muscular with everybody. The guy who ended up winning, I was really curious how he did in the overall, because I heard he competed in the overall, and he got 3rd. And because I, like I said before, I wasn't super impressed with the guy who actually ended up winning. So I was curious as to how he compared against them, because Like I said, I don't think I could have beat him, but this guy ended up getting fifth in the overall, and I think I could have beat him if I had posed a little bit better or peaked a little bit differently. This was the guy who won the light heavyweight open, and I think I compared favorably with him on some shots. But let's look at that class. This is the guy who got fifth, right? And this is the guy who won my class. So if you look at the front double, I mean, this guy or the guy who won my class are probably winning. Like I said, this is the guy who won the overall. Light heavyweight was not a crazy stat class. I would give this guy who won the class I was in the front lat spread out of everybody. He's got a really good front lat. Side chest, I might give to the guy who got second. He's got a really thick chest. And again, this is the guy who got third in my class. He looks really good. He presents himself really well. I mean, he's definitely the oldest guy on here by a lot. Look at the back lat. This is where he's starting to lose a little bit of ground to the other two top guys in the back poses, I think. I think he holds his own really good from the front. The side tricep, none of these guys have a very good side tricep. These are all like really awkward looking. We go to the back double, and on this one, he just looks a little shallow, and the detail doesn't carry him the same way it did when he competed with those older guys. So I would probably put him in like second to last in the back double, even though he was doing really good in the front poses. So I think he might win this one. He's got a really good ab and thighs. I really like his quads. And this most muscular is actually pretty good. The hand on hip doesn't look bad. I mean, I don't know. I could have seen this going anywhere between these three guys. It was really close to me. But they ended up giving it to this guy. And I know he's been trying for a while to get his pro card, so congrats. But it's good to see. Like, I think I could have been in this top 5. Yeah, I really think I could have been had I had done things a little bit differently. So what I want to do real quick is just show you guys where I was. This was Wednesday night, and I think this was a pretty good position if I had not like pulled down any more water from here. I think pulling down a little bit of water hurt a little bit. If I had just kept here and kept filling out, I think I would have a little more pop to my physique in the morning, which is the only time that counts. That's when they do all the judging. But in between the pre-judging and the night show, I really just went ham, and I ate a lot, and I drank a lot of fluids. I had Five Guys with burgers and fries. I had pancakes. I just ate as much as I could handle without feeling extremely bloated, and I think it brought a lot better look to finals. But I think if I would have not pulled out any more water and started like carbing up a little earlier, I probably could have potentially placed a little bit better, because like I said, this was a good look. If I just fill this out a little bit more, I don't think I need to pull any more water. You can see I've still got like a lot of vascularity. This is a good, healthy look. And so this is the difference between the morning and the night show. This was the morning, and this was night after like I said, I had kind of refueled, got some fluids and sodium and calories back in me, and I look a lot better. You can just see the chest striations are a lot more detailed. The shoulders are popping a lot more. The arms are popping a lot more. Like the legs, everything just looks like way more alive and bigger and stronger. Even in the back, you can kind of see, right, these just traps just have a lot more density to them. Also, if you look at like my vascularity, you can see it's a lot more prominent now. It's a lot thicker veins, and that's just because I've got like more water in my system. My veins were all tiny and small. It's freaking me out when I was really dehydrated. And then in the side chest, I suppose shitty on both of these, but you can see a little bit of difference on there as well. I just have a fuller pec, and those shoulders actually are probably the most noticeable. So this was about 5 days out, once I had just started filling up, and I just look so much better when I can use the mirror. And this is just a good example of like how much you can make yourself look leaner just by being able to have muscle control and being able to pose right. Like as I'm looking at myself, I can flex it, I can engage it, I can get those striations like way better. But if I can't look at myself, I'm not connected enough yet to really feel it, which I should be. I mean, I'm competing against guys that are like professionals that aren't professionals. They take this so serious. They've been doing it forever. They do off seasons. They count all their food. Like they're really dedicated. They pose all the time. Like for me, this has always been like a very part-time thing. And to make that leap to the next level, I'm going to have to dedicate more than like the last 8 weeks of a prep, which is honestly all I've ever done. But knowing that, I think I have a really good chance of turning pro if I can focus on my off season like I do that last 8 weeks of prep, and focus on my entire prep like I do that last 8 weeks. Then I think I have a really good chance. I haven't been able to do that because of a lot of life circumstances, owning a business, having kids, having hernia surgery. Every time I try to have an off season, something comes up. Now I'm in a position where I finally can, and I want to give it my all and see what happens. A lot of times we kind of have a cop out, even if it's subconsciously, by not putting everything into something, because that way when we fail, we're like, oh, well, maybe if I had done it 100%, well, we just won't know. But if you give it 100% and you still fail, then you got no excuse, right? So what I've learned about myself, at least, is every time I've had to give it 100% and bet on myself, good things have always happened. So I'm going to continue to do that. All right, so one more time, let's just take a look at our overall, because again, this guy is going to be dangerous and doing some damage. Again, crazy front double. Nothing's missing at all. I mean, he's got it all. Got the legs, got the shape, got the arms, everything. He's amazing front lat, amazing side chest as well. I mean, a lot of times these guys are missing backs when they look so good from the front. He's got the back there too. He's got potential to have a really good back and just crazy detailed hamstrings. Yeah, not missing anything. Like I said, I'm really glad that the IFBB is kind of moving this more aesthetic kind of route. It seems to be somewhat conscious, although this guy was pretty hard to deny no matter what. So, all right, guys, so that's it. I'm going to go a little bit deeper dive on another video, just kind of about the whole experience and some different things as far as protocols and little manipulations that potentially could have made to make things a little bit better for myself. That's going to be for the members only that I'm starting. So if you want to check that out, and there'll be a couple videos in there from this weekend that are like members only that are just a little bit more personal, a little bit more like off handle, maybe a little bit more ridiculous, a little less PC. So I'm not gonna like put tons of like detailed information out there. I want the public to get the really important stuff. But if you would just want to see a little more silly shit, a little more personal stuff, you can check that out. And I'm going to continue to add content to that for members. We'll do some Q&As and some other things. So, all right, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.